Good evening. Excuse me. I'd like to call the November 19th Upper Gwynedd Township Business Meeting to order. I'll be doing the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Deanna, could you do the roll call, please?
Catherine Carter, President.
Here.
Rebecca Moody, Vice President.
Here.
Denise Hall, Commissioner.
Here.
Liz McNaney, Commissioner.
Here.
Gregory Mull, Commissioner.
Here.
Sandra Zadell, Township Manager.
Here.
Megan Weaver, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Alex Glassman, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Tyler Williams, Township Engineer. David Duffy, Chief of Police.
Here.
Brian Shapiro, Finance Director.
Thank you. Mr. Glass, do we have anything for executive session?
In exec session, we discussed a matter of personnel.
Thank you. Next up, number 5 on our agenda, are public comments. Please state your name, and if you're a resident or non-resident, when you come to the mic, please make sure you press the button and see the green light. Thank you for respecting the 5-minute rule and practicing decorum. Our goal is always to give you the most complete and correct answers to your questions from our staff, who happen to be experts in their fields. For that reason, you have the option of enclosing your email address in the registry if you'd like us to reach out to you during the next full week. We have had some residents who were concerned that if we answered any question offline, so to speak, then the residents who wanted to hear the answer publicly would be left out. So we will continue to share any answers to questions that were posed publicly but were answered privately at the following public meeting. First up for the public comment this evening is Carl Smith.
Yes, Carl Smith. I think it's well established I am a resident. I have with me tonight a brief from the attorney I presented to the Planning Commission last week. I made mention of it in the workshop hearing last week as well. So I didn't want you to feel left out, so I brought a copy for each one of you. And basically, I was asked by one of the committee members when we passed it out if there had been an official filing in the courts. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to give a clear answer, but tonight I can do a little better. The short answer is no. And I think the best way to describe or explain as to where we stand is to offer a snapshot of where we are and where I think we're headed. So real brief, in December, from what I understand, the Planning Commission is going to host the Walters Group and this is about the Pembroke Parkway development. I didn't mention that. They're going to host the Walters Group to come and present evidence that they've complied to the conditional uses listed in the text amendment. If it goes according to plan and as expected, the Planning Commission will make the recommendation to this Board of Commissioners, and then a conditional use hearing will be next. The Walters Group will come to that hearing. The attorney, Chris Papa, that drafted the brief, will also be here in opposition to this, and he'll be making the argument that this spot zoning is an unconstitutional, illegal act put together by the board here of commissioners. So if at that point, the Board of Commissioners, you folks, grant approval, that will trigger the official court action. And that will come in the form of a substantive validity challenge. And the reason what makes that, dictates that, I guess, process or sequence is that this conditional use approval in this case by the Board of Commissioners will meet the requirement of spot zoning. Not just because, but this sums it up, because the specific project approved in this case meets the requirements or the dictates or the language the text amendment set out to accommodate. So I read a few statements from the attorney addressing or explaining what spot zoning is And I want to just give a few of them to you. I'm not going to read them all, but I think it's helpful, gives it context. So the attorney writes, we have serious concerns with the ordinance itself and concerns with this particular conditional use application and development under the ordinance. They are truly one and the same. The ordinance was created solely for this project and this developer, and without them, there would be no ordinance. This ordinance and the proposed development, we believe, are a radical revolution in our community, making the current zoning plan that all residents bought into and follow incoherent, illogical, and unenforceable. The point of zoning is that everyone relies upon the plan, makes investments based upon the plan. Municipality can only legally zone if they take a community perspective and do not undertake revolutions in the community plan to suit one particular developer or project. They must group like uses together, separate from unlike uses, to create peace, quiet, prosperity, and harmony in the community. Spot zoning or unconstitutional zoning, what is it? It's where a municipal governing body puts on blinders, confines its vision to one isolated place or problem, not considering a community-wide perspective. It creates islands of unlike use in violation of the plan. Further, even under this new ordinance that we believe is unconstitutional, it still requires that the developer prove that the proposal be suitable, not contrary to public interest, and prove it with credible evidence. It can't be done here. It's not suitable in this place. There's no evidence that it could prove that it is. So I guess this is just another effort to put everyone on notice that the residents here, I being one, are prepared to submit to the substantive validity challenge to invalidate the ordinance if the municipality proceeds with this. So I'll give you a copy of this if you want to have a record of it.
We have it.
You all have it? You all have it?
Yes, we do. Thank you. Ms. Linda Smith?
Hi, good evening. I'm just going to talk a few minutes about the Parks and Recreation Survey relating to the increased park and recreation spending. Now, while it may be true that non-residents utilize Upper Gwynedd Township parks and recreation programs, we, the tax-paying residents of Upper Gwynedd Township, shoulder the fiscal responsibility, the burden of subsidizing the township building where we gather, the salaries and benefits of township employees who work here and administer the various responsibilities required to operate the Parks and Rec Department and all the other departments. Receiving non-resident fees for Parks and Rec programs made possible by the property taxes paid by the residents of Upper Gwynedd Township should in no way, shape, or manner erode, muffle, or silence the voice of the said Upper Gwynedd Township residents, because that's exactly what's happening. Your township manager, Sandra Zadell, in a letter wrote to me, thank you for your quick and courteous response. You said, and I'm quoting, area residents do not think about municipal boundaries when making their recreation decision. Sadly, this mindset is eerily similar to that of Washington, D.C. bureaucrats who dismiss the value and importance of the national boundary, which we call our southern border. Boundaries and borders matter, as do the citizens and taxpayers residing within those borders and boundaries. As the elected representatives of Upper Gwynedd, voted into office by the voters of Upper Gwynedd Township, your constituents are we the people of Upper Gwynedd, not so-called area residents residing and paying taxes in other municipalities. While they are free to travel here and participate in programs offered here, that does not entitle them to encroach upon our voice as the residents and taxpayers of Upper Gwynedd Township by way of being solicited by township officials and employees to participate in local surveys that affect the future of the Park and Rec Department and its programs. Your conduct is a breach of the sovereignty of the legal residents, taxpayers, and voters of Upper Gwynedd Township. On behalf of the like-minded Upper Gwynedd residents, taxpayers, and voters, thank you for your time. The erosion of our voice and feedback must end immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. William Jackson?
William Jackson, I'm a resident. 2 points tonight. One is personal. I live at 644 Park Road. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. 664 Park Road. Since about June, I've been interacting with the Public Works Department about I'm going to call it a sinkhole, but it's not that dramatic. There's a hole in the ground right along the edge of the road on my property line. It seems to be caused either by the sewer line or the water line. When I reported it in June, I got instant service that afternoon. There was the crew came out with the camera. The water crew was there with a special microphone, but they couldn't determine if the problem was the water line or the sewer line. So they put a cone on it and put a board over the hole. Couple months passed, no additional action. So I called up, I think, Mr. Troxel and left a message, and he called back and said that they would have somebody out to do some work in the next couple of days. And again, in a couple of days, there was paint marks out for the utilities on the road, but now it's been a couple more months, and I'm a little concerned with the freeze thaw that might happen in the winter, that something with these water lines might start to fail. So I left a message with Mr. Troxel again this afternoon, but I think I missed his office hours.
Not a problem, Bill. I'll take care
Yeah, if it could just be kind of, if I can get a
of it.
date.
100%. I will get you an answer and
Okay.
I will get back in touch.
Okay.
Do I have your phone number, Bill?
Uh,
I know I have your email.
I'm not going to say it for the record.
You don't
but
have to. Just maybe at the end of the meeting or shoot me an email with your phone number.
Okay. My other question relates to the parks study. I was just wondering if the commissioners could raise their hands. Who has reviewed all of the online comments that have been submitted? Okay. I wasn't able to be at the meeting where we could give public testimony, but I was told that the commissioners would be provided with all of the online or, emailed comments, and I just want to make sure that those had been seen.
The commissioners haven't seen it yet because they haven't been asked to make a final decision. But at the
Okay.
Park CPRO's meeting, I'm pretty sure Greg
We're
or
on the-
maybe Rebecca.
Yeah, we're on the committee.
Okay. But at some point, all that input
All
will
of it will come to the board. It's just not yet because it was
Okay.
still open. Comment period's now closed. When they come back to the board will get all those comments.
be, okay.
'Cause it still needs to come to the board for the final approval.
Okay. I did submit email comments. One thing came to me after the meeting was the issue of Wi-Fi, which I think was specified at the pavilion. In any case,
I don't know if I remember.
there was a desire to have Wi-Fi someplace other than this building in the park area. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought of the potential negative impacts of that. Like when I'm at the park or I'm passing through the park, I like to see my neighbors acknowledging each other, interacting with each other. When I see parents with their children at the castle, I like to see them paying attention to what their kids are up to. When their kids are playing basketball or tennis or whatever, I'm hoping that people are engaged with what's going on in the park. And I understand there might be some activity, with the festivals and stuff over the pavilion where maybe Wi-Fi might be needed to activate some activity during a specific event. So I'm not opposed to having the capability there. I guess I would just like to maybe suggest that we don't have it on all the time everywhere. There's a lot of places people can go to get Wi-Fi access if they're not getting it at their home. I just don't think the expectation should be they'd be able to come to the park and get Wi-Fi access 24 hours a day. So I'm not opposed to the capability. I'm just a little concerned about the potential negative aspects of having something on all the time available everywhere.
If I may, Bill,
Yeah.
I was at the meeting where that was brought up,
Okay.
and it was brought up by a high school student.
Okay.
And her logic behind it was, hey, I'd like to come to the park, get out in the fresh air, and be able to do my research paper or study. And then we heard more, this was early on in the process, we heard more about maybe people coming out on a nice day and working outside somewhere on the park.
Mhm.
So these were the kind of things that we heard about why Wi-Fi would be needed in this outside, so
Mhm.
that people that can get out and still work and get the fresh air.
Sure.
But I understand too where you're coming from. Where's that balance? So
Right.
Thank you for that.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
And there's actually one more public meeting on December 4th.
Okay.
So just a reminder. So if you'll have an opportunity to have additional comments and everything at that meeting as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That ends public comments. Next up on our agenda, number 6, motion to approve consent items. A through G.
Are you making the motion?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve consent items A through G. I have a second.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
It's a roll call? No?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. Dan, can you do the roll call, please?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney.
Aye.
Commissioner Mall.
Motion passes unanimously. Sorry. Next up, number 7 on the agenda. I have a motion to approve Resolution 30-2024, the 2025 Homestead Act. Can I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. We have any board comments? We have any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Number 8, I have a motion to approve Resolution 31-2024, permitting the auditors to conduct an audit. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. I have a motion to approve the Unisite cell phone tower lease agreement. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. I'd like to turn it over to Rebecca Moody.
Thank you. For item number 10, Merck is requesting a waiver from Chapter 113-1 and 124-5 for after-hours construction work in order to remove the Gate 7 canopy, specifically for Sundays in December. It looks like there are, as backup days, 2 Sundays, the 8th, the 15th, or the 22nd and 29th as backup days. They're planning to remove the overhead canopy over the Garfield Avenue Gate 7, the contractor check-in location. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this Merck waiver request.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Number 11, I'd like to make a motion to approve the driveway sightline easement between Provco Pinegood Lansdale LLC and Upper Gwynedd Township for the Wawa at 1601 South Valley Forge Road.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And lastly, number 12, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2025 to 2027 planning assistance contract with the Montgomery County Planning Commission.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Commissioner Moody. I turn it over to Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, President Carter. So we are passing resolutions for several statewide local share assessment grants this evening. This one in particular is for the VMSC. That's our ambulance company that serves Upper Gwynedd Township for the purchase of 7 units of Life Pack equipment. The VMSC isn't a municipality, so they can't apply directly, but we have volunteered on behalf of all the communities that VMSC serves to apply on their behalf, as it will impact our residents positively. Each of these grants requires a $100 fee, which will be well worth it if we are awarded this funding. I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 32-2024, grant application for VMSC in the amount of $364,000.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? Any public comments? Motion passes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And I had one more thing. I just wanted to remind everyone that Montgomery County currently has a burn ban. And our Fire Marshal, Connor McCain, actually helped craft that. And here are just a couple points I just wanted to remind everyone about. Prohibited during the burn ban are open fires, which are defined as the ignition and subsequent burning of any combustible material, such as garbage, leaves, grass, twigs, litter, paper, vegetative material involved with land clearing or any sort of debris, outdoors in either screened or unscreened burn barrels, fire rings, or on the ground. Propane stoves, gas stoves, charcoal briquette grills, and tobacco use in any form will still be permitted during the ban. Other exemptions are provided for normal agricultural operations, agricultural-related business operations, candle lighting, and other small contained burnings such as matches, lighters, or candles used for religious reasons. So I just wanted to remind you of those 2 things. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall. I'll now turn the meeting over to Commissioner Mall.
Thank you, President Carter. Agenda item number 14, I'm making a motion to approve the bid award for snow plow and equipment to Horgan Brothers in the amount of $9,100. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Do you have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Agenda item 15, I'm making a motion to approve the bid award to Land Tech Enterprises Incorporated for the Haynes Run Steam Bank Restoration Project in the amount of $1,588,900. $1,450,852 will be funded by a grant, and that leaves about $138,000 left to fund. So with that motion, I'm seeking a second.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And last, President Carter, I'm making a motion to approve Resolution 34-2024 LSA grant application for Norgwin baseball LED lights in the amount of $126,100.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Commissioner Mall.
I'm just laughing because we have so many of these on the agenda tonight. So many resolutions.
Next up, we have a motion to approve Resolution 33-2024, the LSA grant application for I&I remediation in the amount of $437,175. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, our finance report. In the future, it will be up at the top with the other items, the staff department reports. Number 19, approval.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Carter, the finance report. Megan, can you click that on, please? I'm sorry. I just wanted to take a few moments to thank Brian for this, this report. It is extremely transparent, informative, and lots of numbers. Brian, would you like to come up and say anything about that, about your report and why you're doing it and why this is important and why we're being so transparent with this new item that we've added to the agenda? Sandra, you did warn him, right?
So throughout my time in various municipalities and with dealing with the finance, it has been a custom of mine and everywhere else to provide a monthly report to the board and to the residents of the municipality. As you indicated, it's for transparency. We are stewards of taxpayers' dollars. This report shows that how money is being spent year to date compared to budget. It also encourages conversations on if one area of the budget might be trending higher where we have to, adjust for it during the year. So having it monthly provides that narrative. Also, I will say the budget, and I say this to department heads wherever I've been, it also tells a story of where the township is at. The municipality is not like a normal business where we have, quarterly, earnings and things like that. There's a lot of ebbs and flows. And the perfect example I will always say is like Parks and Rec. They could not, especially when it comes to recreation and other programs they could have $0 of revenue and expenses all the way up until June. And then all of a sudden they're at 100%. And when you're looking at the budget, you get to the end of September and you're at 100% of all those things. Well, that's basically how their operations are. So that allows for conversations and really understanding how a municipality operates. So again, at the end of the day, this is something that I've always done in the future, because last week Sandra did a great job with the budget presentation talking about year 2024 and review. In the future, though, there will be a cover memo, 1 or 2 page cover memo, indicating where we're at with the budget year to date and just more of a narrative, again, to tell that story. Because my job is to provide the numbers, but it also is to put it in other terms so people can follow what is happening. So,
Thank you for that.
So in municipal government, we have fund accounting. So right now, this is just the cover page for the general fund. If we scroll back further into the budget, once we get to Fund 08, which is the sewer fund, that relates to all revenues and expenditures to the sewer fund.
Megan's pulling that up now. Bill.
That's the sewer revenue fund, not to confuse everyone, but there is 08 is the main operating fund.
Fancy opportunity for resident education, since we had a question, and I appreciate that our fund accounting also, every fund starts with a digit like 01, 08, 23. 08 means it's a sewer expense. 01 means it's a general fund expense. So actually also each section of those number codes has a corresponding department or spending code. So it helps us to know if we're looking at the general fund or the sewer fund. Now we're looking at the sewer fund.
Thank you, Brian.
Any other questions for our finance director? Thank you, Brian.
Well, thank you.
And again, for the residents, it will be a part of number 6, the staff department reports in the future. It won't be at the bottom. Now on to, approval of November 2024 open invoices. I'd like to make a motion for the approval of November 2024 open invoices. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? Any public comments? Deanna, can you do a roll call, please?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney.
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Motion passes unanimously. I'd like the approval of November 2024 paid invoices. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Any public comments? Deanna, can you do a roll call?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney.
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. I have an announcement. The December 16th Board of Commissioners meeting will be canceled. We'll only do one meeting in December due to the holidays. With that being said, meeting has adjourned. Thank you and have a good holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.